Hey everybody, Kenny here. This is going to be a strategy guide video for how to take down the vampire boss in Visions of Mana the hard way. Reason I say that is after having completed the game, I am now aware that you are able to outlevel the bosses in this game. And since you can outlevel the bosses, that does mean that you almost certainly can go into this boss fight at a higher level than the boss, which would allow you to use the Undead Away light spell to just instantly kill the boss, most likely. But you do have to be a higher level in order to use it. When I got to this fight, I was at the same level as the boss, and I had assumed that my party was at the same level as the boss because that's the way that the fight was intended to be, that they didn't want you to outlevel the boss so that you couldn't use that spell. That was my assumption, because it didn't make sense that I happened to reach the boss at the level of the boss. Yeah. If you just want to bypass the boss completely, then just make sure you do the Moon Benevodon last out of the 4 when you reach that point of the game. But if you actually want to go it the hard way like I did, let me show you what I did so you can try to emulate the parts that make sense for the way you like to play. First thing and most important, you will need to have someone in your party using the light vessel. Preferably, it'll be, whoever your support character is, or the character that you personally aren't actually playing as, being the one using the light vessel. And the reason that I feel that you shouldn't be the one doing this is that none of the light classes are really good combatants. None of them. If your goal is to fight this guy and stop the things that he does, none of them are really all that good at being the one doing the fighting. If they're the one if they have the light vessel equipped, it's not a particularly aggressive specialization for anybody. My other major recommendation is that you definitely have Julay as your healer during this fight. Have his strategy set to staying alive. Make sure that if you have any kind of defense against sleep, that you have him equipped with it in his ability seed slots. You make sure that he is as defended against sleep as possible, and that you are bringing him up as often as needed if he happens to go down or he happens to get put to sleep. That you're just there ready with a medicine to wake him up if it happens, because Julay will be invaluable during this, because this guy is going to hit you. Doesn't matter how good you are, this guy is going to, if not you, he's going to hit someone in your party, because it's just that kind of fight. It is very tough. This is a very tough fight. I have beaten the game at the time of this recording, and there is no boss in the game this tough. Nobody. This is a whole other level compared to every other boss in the entire game. Make sure you're fully topped up on your revival items. Then, if possible, make sure that one of the people in your party has the Holy Saber spell. I recommend that if you use Val as your light sigil guy, that's what I did. I used Val as my light sigil guy for the attempt where I did it. With him, he's able to bring in Holy Saber without the need for using an ability seed slot for it. So he's a good pick for your light sigil guy. And the reason that I'm so focused on the whole light sigil thing. I keep calling it sigil. The light vessel thing. Like the reason why you want to make sure you have someone with the light vessel is that when you see this happen, when you see that the arena goes dark, and the whole time the boss is going to be doing all the same things it does when the lights are on. So it's going to be doing the leap slam, it's going to be doing the sleep beam, it's going to be doing the blood suck, all of its stuff it's going to be doing. But if you have someone in your party with the light vessel on, then they will be able to instantly end this phase of the fight. Like, it will just end as soon as they use the vessel. This is why you want it. It's just, it takes this out of the rotation of something you need to worry about during the fight, because you do not need more things to worry about during this fight. If you're using Morley in his moon form, then do not use the class strike, because this boss is resistant against moon damage. So if you use the class strike, you're doing half damage, so it's not even worth doing. But I do recommend using Morley in his moon form because he has all of the crit bonuses that come with that class. And so buffed up, he does just lots of damage, and most importantly, like, he can do the most consistent damage out of every other character like that you're using for this fight, because of the fact that when you use his special attack, he just closes the gap on an enemy. You know, so you don't have to worry about like going and missing an attack and then having to reposition to go and get an attack in, because he just does that as part of his special attack. Now, the big thing to look out for here, like once you have nullified the boss's ability to do the dark phase, and also another pro about using the light vessel is that once you have nullified the dark phase, the boss will go into will become vulnerable for a period. So you actually see him go into like kind of this like stunned state, you're seeing here. And once he is like that, you know, you can also get free shots on him. So, you know, like another like good reason why you want to have someone with a light vessel with you. Then the other thing that you want to definitely make sure that you're keeping an eye on is the sleep scream thing. There's a bunch of things that happen with the sleep scream. First off, the sleep scream is an identifier for how you know that he's about to start doing the blood suck. And the number of times that he does the blood suck is going to be based on whether or not anyone is put to sleep by the sleep scream. If no one is put to sleep by the sleep scream, then he'll usually only do it one time. Like I said, if he was in the air at the time, then he'll only do it one time after he does the leap slams. If anyone is put to sleep, then he'll do the blood suck an additional number of times based on the number of characters that were put to sleep. You know, if everyone gets put to sleep, then you're in for a real bad time. You know, like it is brutal. Like this is as unfair a fight as it gets in this game. And the only way to make it fair is to be very vigilant about paying attention to when those sleep waves come out. And a very important thing about those sleep waves is that when he's in the air, the origin point of where the wave comes out is not based on where he is. Like, even though, like, if everyone's very far away from him, then you'll definitely see that the waves are coming out from him. But if you're close to him, then the waves will actually come from the ground. Like, you know, he'll do the thing, then you'll go to like dodge away from him and get hit by the beam coming from a direction that was nowhere near where he started the attack. And like, it is like very misleading the way that attack works when he's in the air. So, you know, so anytime he's in the air, I recommend just either, like, you know, get a quick hit in with him, especially if you're Morley and you can just dash up to do that, then dash all the way out of his range, or just, you know, go into full dash and just like start making loops around the arena. As long as you're making sure that you're keeping your buff up, as long as you're making sure that you're taking advantage of your elemental breaks based on whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. Like, you know, as long as you're, like, you know, making sure that you're keeping your healer up, you're making sure that your characters aren't picked with sleep, then you will be able to pull this off. Like, this took me around 10 hours to beat this boss. It is very tough. Like, I tried over a dozen different party combinations trying to figure out like what would actually work against the guy. And yeah, and here we are. Yep. So hopefully, if you have been having a tough time with this boss, this has helped you out. Like, I definitely don't recommend trying to be stubborn and trying to beat him with like a party comp that you know isn't working. Because that is what I did. But eventually you'll get it. Mind you, like, you know, there's no extra reward for doing it the hard way. And like I said, you know, like, I didn't know that I wasn't sure there was an easy way until I had got into the end of the game and realized that I had out-leveled the final boss by nearly 20 levels. So, you know, so I wasn't aware that, you know, that I was doing it the hard way until the end of the game. But, you know, I can say for certainty, like, you know, you have a much easier option if you want to take it. But if you want to, you know, go for the brownie points, then this will get you there. Thanks everybody for stopping by and checking me out. If you found these tips useful, appreciate doing YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, maybe share with a friend. The next time, Vivictus, Varys Numeris, and bye.